Head over to the border between India and Pakistan, this disputed border, should I say, of Kashmir. We've been keeping an eye on this for several hours, waiting for the release of this fighter pilot, the Indian fighter pilot, Wing Commander Abhinandan Varthaman, whose plane was shot down in the disputed region of Kashmir on Wednesday. We've had correspondents here waiting for the man. You can see him there to the right of the shot. He's in the open-neck shirt and the blue jacket, being escorted very slowly through that Wagah border post. Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan had said that the pilot would be released as a peace gesture today. India's military have welcomed the move. I mean, so contested is this territory of Kashmir that the issue of this pilot's plight and his fate was said to have brought the nation closer, according to the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We've seen the crowds gathering here to welcome him home, being hailed a hero. But for his part, Imran Khan in Pakistan has repeated his call for a de-escalation of the situation. Kashmir, as a disputed territory, has been fought over 3 times since 1947, when India gained independence and partition later occurred. Imran Khan says, though, that India and Pakistan have to live in peace, taking a very different tone. He's also pushing for talks with Delhi. There was a dogfight that took place on Wednesday between Indian and Pakistani jets after Pakistani airstrikes on the Indian-controlled part of Kashmir. And that's when Wing Commander Abhinandan was shot down. But clearly a very solemn and quiet return home for him, despite all of these crowds. Everything being conducted very carefully, choreographed. He will receive a hero's welcome home, though, when he sets foot back in India. Both countries under pressure to calm these tensions, though. Because it has been such a source of conflict for the two countries in the past. There had been some video footage from Pakistan's Information Ministry that was published showing the pilot blindfolded. He could be heard requesting water just after he'd been captured when his plane came down. That was subsequently deleted. Obviously, that would look quite inflammatory to some. Villagers in Horan, which is where he came down, threw stones at the pilot, eyewitnesses told the BBC. So paperwork being conducted. Obviously, a very heavy military presence, as there is in many parts of Kashmir, a very difficult place for people to visit. Certainly, if you're a British tourist, our Foreign Office advises you to take extreme care if you decide to visit Kashmir. We've got a video message from the pilot, which he recorded. He said, "I ejected as soon as I got hit. When I landed on the ground, locals saw me. They were charged, so I ran away, throwing away my gun. A Pakistani army captain rescued me from the mob and took me to hospital. Pakistani military is a professional army that I have spent time with. Indian media overplays negatively about everything." So clearly making some very supportive comments there about Pakistan, rather different from the tensions that we hear about and are reported. So that's what Wing Commander Abhinandan has had to say about he was treated. It was actually the Pakistani military that brought him to safety. And then obviously only a couple of days later, here we are on Friday, as a gesture of peace, as Imran Khan has put it, he is being returned home. So things taking a while. We've been waiting for his release for quite some time. We were told that it would be much sooner. But of course, something like this can have, and has had in the past, immense political fallout for India and Pakistan. And the sequence of events over the last few days have shifted from being what might have been a boost for the ruling Hindu nationalist BJP party in India. There are upcoming parliamentary elections. They might have made capital out of this, but now there seems to be a general feeling of disenchantment in the country over the way things have turned out. India's opposition parties on Wednesday evening, after it emerged that the pilot had been captured, issued a statement in which they attacked the ruling BJP party for blatant politicisation of the armed forces sacrifices, which somewhat plays into that video message that the wing commander has issued, where he sort of paid tribute and thanked the Pakistani military for the way they treated him. Just more on his statement here, just come into us. He's appeared on Pakistani state TV. This is a sort of rough translation released by a Pakistani army spokesman. He said, "My name is Wing Commander Abhinandan. I'm an Indian Air Force pilot. I was looking for a target. The Pakistan Air Force shot me down. I ejected. When I fell, I had a pistol. There were lots of people around me. They were very agitated, so I dropped my pistol. I had only one way of escape. 2 Pakistani army soldiers came. A captain came. They rescued me, took me to their unit and gave me first aid. They then took me to hospital, where I received more aid. The Pakistan army looked after me really well. They were very professional. I see peace in it. I'm very impressed." And then he went on to criticise the Indian media, saying that they say a lot of very damaging things, they always exaggerate, and people get misled. Now, of course, this was a statement that he made on Pakistani state TV. We don't know how he was feeling at that point, but clearly he was trying to sound conciliatory in his praise of the way he was treated by Pakistan. So slowly being brought through. You can imagine the security on this border post, can't you, on the edge of a disputed territory. Someone making an announcement there from the Indian side, it would seem. Here he is, walking through. We've had correspondence there, not part of the world that journalists often get to report from very readily because of the security and the difficulties of travelling around. Back in India's care now, the gates being shut, no doubt he'll be inundated with requests for interviews to find out exactly what went on and whether it... he says the same things when he's back in India that he said when he was in Pakistan. But Imran Khan wanting this to be seen as a peace gesture, saying we've got to live peaceably with each other and pushing Delhi for talks. Now, that's whether the ruling party, the BJP, want to take him up on that. We'll have to wait and see. But there's an appetite, it would seem, on the Pakistan side of things for that to be the case. So the wing commander back home. I think we've got a statement from Pakistan now. Yes, we have. A statement from Pakistan on the release of what's described as the prisoner of war, POW. Wing Commander Abhinandan Vartman, the captured Indian Air Force wing commander, has been returned to India today. He was arrested when his military jet MiG-21 crashed in Azad Jammu and Kashmir after being shot down by Pakistan Air Force for violating Pakistani airspace on the 27th of February. While in captivity, he was treated with dignity and in line with international law. The Prime Minister of Pakistan, Imran Khan, announced his return as a goodwill gesture aimed at de-escalating rising tensions with India. That's the statement from Pakistan. We'll no doubt see him again on the Indian side and hear from him as soon as he's put in front of a camera.